We're going to talk about how cybersecurity becomes part of the CEO's strategy for developing durable products and services. CEOs oversee the long-term business model risks, and one of those biggest risks is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity isn't something to be left to IT departments. So let's take a look at the factors a CEO needs to consider, how to assess the risk, and a publicly defensible framework and strategy that you can use to acquire and retain your customers. According to a Harvard Business Review article, cybersecurity is putting customer trust at the center of competition. Whether a customer is the government requiring CMMC or a high-value client protecting confidentiality, security capability can be a competitive advantage. In the end, a company's cybersecurity protects trust, as evidenced in greater revenues and ability to deliver on the customer promise and do good. So how does a CEO measure that trust risk? Of course, companies buy cybersecurity insurance to protect against the cost of a breach and direct monetary loss. Yet the loss of trust is a bigger impact. Loss of trust may be expressed as reduced revenue risk. One of our clients has added about $9 million in revenue since committing to a cybersecurity strategy as part of their strategy to acquire and retain high-value clients. The future looks even brighter for them as they anticipate additional durable revenues and competitive advantage in the space. Let me show you how to calculate that risk. Revenue is at risk first because the managing partner promised protection for the clients as part of the client acquisition. Second, if the executives fail to protect the data, some or all of that revenue will disappear. So to calculate the revenue risk, we'll take the annual revenue from cybersecurity times the likelihood of the risk of a cybersecurity breach. In this case, $6 million is anticipated in 23 from cybersecurity concerned customers. And according to Verizon's data breach investigation report, 61% of all SMBs reported at least one cyber attack during the previous year. So we'll use that in our formula here as a reasonable representation of the risk of a breach for an SMB. So 61% times 6 million is $3.66 million of revenue at risk in the strategy. So, okay, how do you create trust insurance for this kind of a risk? Well, trust in cybersecurity is created when you demonstrate what you are willing to do to protect your stakeholders. When the customer believes that you are doing what is necessary to protect their data, they will value your cybersecurity capabilities. If you have a breach without protecting the customer revenue in a way they can understand, it's likely that revenue goes away because trust is broken. In the event of a breach when protections are in place, trust can be maintained even through a breach. So how do you articulate to customers so they see your cybersecurity as a reason to do business with you and trust you? The CIS controls framework specifies a comprehensive set of hundreds of activities and practices that mitigate risk. Your peers, your customers, your suppliers can see this in a publicly defensible framework. CIS encompasses all the major ones that you're going to be concerned about: CMMC, NIST, and other industry-specific frameworks. Essentially, by measuring against an easy-to-understand public framework like CIS, your customers can see how mature your cybersecurity practices are. Public frameworks build trust. CIS specifies 3 different implementation groups that contribute to the overall cybersecurity maturity of your organization. So what level of security do you need? Your security maturity is going to depend upon your customers' security needs and maturity needs in security. So how do you protect $9.1 million in revenue? You demonstrate to the customer what you do to protect their data. Report your maturity over time against the CIS controls framework and demonstrate adherence and increased maturity and oversight to maintain that trust with your customers. We help our clients protect millions in revenue while protecting customer data and trust within 3 months using CIS controls, a trusted cybersecurity framework. And you can do this too. This approach works whether you have internal IT or a managed service provider, but it requires deep expertise to provide cybersecurity oversight. If you don't have someone who's already protected tens of thousands of programs, people, and partners, you're taking a big risk. Someone who's been doing it for a long time, not a young recruit just out of a cyber training program. Because we are dealing with business risk, additionally, the risks coming at you need to be assessed and quantified for more than just clicking on a bad website. The whole risk picture needs to be considered and what's going on to protect your clients and you, your revenue, and your reputation as well. The service firm leaders who have /blue cybersecurity oversight have greater peace of mind knowing that they have a publicly defensible framework in place and a strategy to retain and build client trust over the long term while protecting team and customer data. We are the only provider with 20 years doing security with deep expertise in the architecture and engineering industry. Cybersecurity oversight helps protect competitive advantage. It's for organizations who have consistent profitability, excellent products and services with a reputation for good work. It's for those who desire to do good for their clients and for the world. If you just want to outrun your peers and only protect against ransomware, ongoing cybersecurity oversight is not yet for you. Our average client has grown 21% each year over the past 10 years, having great reputation in the marketplace as a firm and doing good through their work. If this sounds like you, I want you to consider your cybersecurity strategy and adding it to your product and service, customer acquisition and retention strategy as well. It takes just one successful attack to lose client trust. Once the data's out, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Once the trust is gone. So get your free cybersecurity strategy and client trust assessment. Just click on the form on this page, schedule a time with me to review your strategy with you, whether you work with us or not. I want to give you tips that you can use to be able to create your own strategy for your business so that you gain meaningful momentum for yourself. What have you got to lose?